Welcome back to Straight Facts by Dinar Investor.
Good morning, all you amazing people. Happy Monday to you. Let's talk about something. I've got a budget or an article for you here that says they're trying to get the budget, at least get the first reading of the budget done within the next 10 days. At the end of the article, it says their goal is to get the budget approved as fast as possible to have it active at the beginning of the year. I want to stress something to you on that. Don't be misled by that statement, having it activated at the beginning of the new year. Even if the budget was, let's give you an example. Let's say it was finally approved by the end of February, okay? And then let's say even after they approve it, guys, it still needs could you need another 15, 20 days to actually, get signed off, and then after it does that, it has to go to the law library and so forth. So even after it's fully approved by Parliament, guys, it still could need another 15, 20 days to go to the actual to become actual law and get to the law library after it's signed off. Okay, so let's say that happens. Let's say doesn't become a legal binding law and get signed off on and hit the law library till, say, mid-March. Okay, and then let's say they go to implement it around the beginning of Q2, close to April 1st, okay? They can still, here's what I'm trying to stress to you, they can still backdate it to January 1st. Regardless of when it's implemented, it can still be backdated to January 1st because if you look at the Iraq's budgets run or span legally from a date range to a standard Gregorian calendar from January 1st through the end of December. So regardless of when the budget's approved, it still spans from January 1st through the end of December. So don't let that last statement at the end of the article mislead you, where it said they want to get it activated at the as close to they can at the beginning of the year. It doesn't matter when it's implemented or when it's approved, because on paper it's going to be utilized from the January 1st through through the end of December. Okay, so I wanted to just stress that to you. Let's talk about the budget. Let's talk about what's inside of it, because this budget's very important. Okay, as you know, right now, Baghdad and Kurdistan are meeting to resolve numbers and math within the budget pertaining to Article 140, the HCL, and now they're telling you that reconstruction is in the budget, and they're also telling you that reforms are in the budget. What are those items? All those items are post-rate change items, okay? So all of those items have everything to do with after the rate change. Those are post-rate change steps, okay? Now, since those are post-rate change steps, because every single one of those items are within the 2020 budget, that means they're also waiting on the 2020 budget, okay? So we have to see the 2020 budget approved first. Then they would be able to implement some of those items. But notice how all of those items are items that are being promised to the citizens, okay, in regards to the demonstrations. But yet they're also waiting on the 2020 budget, guys. This is a puzzle here for you. Because of all of those items that I just rattled off, reconstruction, Article 140, HCL, reforms, because those are all post-rate change items, but they're within the budget, means they're waiting on the budget, okay? Let's look at this for a second. This is a puzzle. Because all of these, not all of them, but a good portion of them, at least half of them, are needed and being promised to the citizens in regards to the demonstrations, that means they can't wait too long to get them implemented. But let me stress something to you here. The demonstrations themselves will not speed up the rate change, so don't think that. The demonstrations themselves will not speed up the timing of the rate change. I want to stress that to you. Okay. So, but in respect to the demonstrations, they also can't wait too long. Okay. If they were to wait 4 to 5 months, that's not a deal breaker, but they can't wait. They probably could not wait like 8 months to a year to actually change the rate at this point in regards to the demonstrations. Okay. So they're promising all these new reforms and better services. Better service would be like HCL and Article 140 to the citizens and promising them money and all that. Okay. So they're promising all that to the citizens, which means they're on track to get it implemented in a reasonable amount of time. Okay. So they're telling you in regards to the demonstrations that they can't wait too long. But yet, I just told you every single item pretty much being promised to the citizens is literally within the 2020 budget. That means that we're waiting on the 2020 budget. Okay. Plus, in regards to most of this has to do with money. And in the past, Iraq had so much corruption that all of this money has to be allocated within the 2020 budget. And it's all about transparency now going forward so that to reduce corruption going forward. Okay. So no matter what, we are waiting on the 2020 budget. That way all this money's allocated and they have that transparency going forward to reduce corruption long term. Okay, so since we're waiting on the 2020 budget, now they're telling us they're on track to probably at least do, remember the budget's going to be like a standard law, which requires 3 readings and a final vote. So they're probably going to get the first reading done at least by the end of this year. Okay. That'll leave two additional readings and the final vote remaining. Most governments and official bankers and stuff, guys, take holiday breaks from roughly 12:15 to 1:15, that 30-day window. So Iraq typically does. They typically take a 30-day break from 12:15 to 1:15. So it means they'd return sometime after 1:15 with roughly 2 readings and the final vote left. So that means they'd be on track to probably finish the 2020 budget somewhere around probably by early March. I mean, it could be February as well, but I'm just rough guessing early March. Okay. And there you go. So they're going to need most of Q1 to finish that 2020 budget, guys. Okay. That's what I'm trying to show you here, just to bring everything into perspective. So if they need most of Q1 now, let's look at some things here. Don't forget, look at when Kuwait did theirs. Kuwait did theirs on March 24th of 91. I'm just giving you that as an example. Okay, because Kuwait was done by George Bush Sr. and Iraq was set and staged by George Bush Jr., father, son. Okay, you also have to look at accounting periods. This is the movement of a very large amount of money. Okay, accounting periods have everything to do with this. Okay, that way, they if they have intentions of changing the rate in Q1, they would most likely do it closer to the end of Q1. That way they walk into Q2 with a new rate in hand. Okay, because that way it'd be a new set of accounting books for Q2, guys. So you have to look at accounting periods. Okay, and then also, guys, you have to look at who's in charge. It's Donald Trump. I already laid out many reasons why over the weekend why Donald Trump's in charge. Okay, and you cannot argue that Donald Trump is not in charge. I promise you, he's in charge. He's right now the world's police officer, putting tariffs and sanctions on everybody and their brother, and nobody else is. So, and he's going to use this for his own political gain and benefit based on a strong economy. Okay, so there you guys go. That's how important the budget is in this. The budget literally has everything in it that the citizens are being promised for better lives, okay, in regards to the demonstrations. But none of those items can actually be approved until after the approval of the budget, okay? But also, all of those items are post-rate change steps. So you kind of actually guys have, so really if you put all of this in kind of chronological order, you have the budget first, okay? The budget has to be implemented first. then none of those items can be implemented till they change the rate. And then once they change the rate, then they can implement all those steps that they're being promised to the citizens. So I wanted to stress that to you guys, how critical this 2020 budget is, okay? And also in respect how critical the rate change is, because none of these items ranging from reforms to reconstruction, okay, to Article 140 and HCL, none of those items can be implemented, okay, for the citizens in regards to the demonstrations until they change the rate. Every single one of those items are post-rate change steps dependent on the rate. You guys have a great day. Here's your article.
Abdul Mahdi's office. 2020 budget will be sent to Parliament within a week. Posted by Walter November 17, 2019 by Ali November 18, 2019, 1:59 a.m. Odd News, Baghdad. The economic advisor to Prime Minister Abdul Hussein al-Hannan, on Sunday, to send the budget 2020 to the House of Representatives within a week, indicating that the discussions are still underway and amendments by the Committee of Experts. Al-Hannan said in a press statement seen by Al-Odd News. The Committee of Experts is in permanent session to complete amendments to the draft budget law 2020 for the purpose of completing it as soon as possible and sent to the House of Representatives. He added that it is hoped to send the draft budget law to the House of Representatives within a week to 10 days for the purpose of reading and voting on it. He explained that accomplishing it as quickly as possible, the goal of voting before entering the year 2020 to be launched at the beginning of the new year to avoid the mistakes of previous years.